What if I told you that learning English and starting a new job have something powerful in common? Both require courage, both create anxiety, and both become easier the moment you stop trying to be perfect and start focusing on progress. Today, we're going to do something special. We're going to learn English naturally, the way native speakers actually use it, by exploring one of life's most universal experiences, your first day at work. Not the fantasy version where everything goes smoothly, the real version, with nervous mistakes, awkward conversations, and small victories that nobody prepared you for. And honestly, this is exactly how language learning should feel. Real, relatable, human. So grab your headphones, find a comfortable place, and stay with me until the very end. Because today, you're not just improving your English, you're also discovering how to navigate one of the most challenging days in anyone's career. And you'll learn vocabulary, phrases, and expressions that textbooks rarely teach. Let's begin. Before we continue, let me share something important with you. Many English learners spend months watching videos, reading books, and studying grammar, but they still struggle to speak confidently in real situations. Why? Because they're missing one crucial element: personalized guidance and a supportive community. That's exactly why I created the Native Flow English Coaching Experience. And right now, you can join for just $5. Think about it. You probably spend more than that on things that disappear in a day: a meal, a drink, a snack. But investing in your English skills, that creates value that lasts for years. Better job opportunities, deeper friendships, more confidence in every conversation. For only $5, you'll get complete access to structured video lessons, downloadable workbooks, practice exercises, direct WhatsApp support, and our private community of learners just like you. If you're ready to stop studying English and start actually using it, click the link in the description and join us today. Now, let's dive into your first day at work. The alarm rings earlier than usual. You've been awake for the past hour anyway, checking the time, rehearsing conversations, imagining scenarios. Today is different. Today, you start your new job. And honestly, the hours before you leave home are often the most stressful part of the entire day. Now imagine standing in front of your closet, trying to choose the right outfit. Suddenly, clothes you've worn 100 times don't seem right anymore. Too casual? Too formal? Too colorful? Too boring? And honestly, this simple decision becomes complicated because everything feels like it matters. Everything feels like a test. Now, let's talk about the questions that fill your mind during breakfast. What if I'm late? What if nobody talks to me? What if I don't understand what they're asking? What if my English isn't good enough? What if I make a terrible first impression? These questions are completely normal. Almost everyone experiences them, even people who seem confident, even experienced professionals starting somewhere new. Here's something interesting. Your brain is trying to protect you. When we face new situations, our minds create worst-case scenarios. It's a survival mechanism. But honestly, reality is usually much simpler than our imagination suggests. Now imagine two people preparing for the same first day. The first person spends the morning panicking, imagining disasters, creating stress. The second person takes a deep breath, reviews what they know, and accepts that some uncertainty is natural. Both people are nervous, but one has chosen a different relationship with that nervousness. Now, here's a powerful English lesson hidden in this moment. Notice the difference between these phrases. I am nervous versus I feel nervous. The first one makes nervousness your identity. The second one makes it a temporary emotion. Native speakers understand this subtle difference, and honestly, it changes how we experience challenging moments. Now, let's talk about the journey to work. Maybe you're on a bus, in your car, or walking through the city. During this time, many people practice conversations in their heads. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to working here. Could you please explain that again? And honestly, this mental rehearsal isn't silly. It's preparation. It's how our brains build confidence. Here's something nobody tells you. Native English speakers also prepare important conversations mentally. They also choose words carefully. They also worry about saying the right thing. Language anxiety isn't about your English level. It's about wanting to communicate well. And that desire? That's actually a strength. Now, imagine arriving at the building. You see other people entering, confident, familiar with everything. They know where to go. They know what to do. Meanwhile, you're checking the address again, wondering which door to use, feeling like everyone can see that you're new. And honestly, this feeling is universal. Every person who looks confident today was once standing exactly where you are now. Now, here's a crucial vocabulary lesson. In English, we have many words for nervous: anxious, worried, stressed, concerned, uneasy, apprehensive. Each one carries a slightly different feeling. Anxious suggests ongoing worry. Worried focuses on specific concerns. Stressed implies pressure. Understanding these subtle differences is how you move from basic English to natural English. Before we continue to the next section, remember this. The morning of your first day isn't just stressful, it's also full of possibility. Behind that nervousness is excitement. Behind that uncertainty is opportunity. And honestly, feelings this strong only appear when something truly matters to you. You walk through the door. Someone greets you at reception. And suddenly, everything you practiced disappears from your mind. They ask a simple question, and you need an extra second to process it. Not because your English is bad, because your mind is managing nervousness and language at the same time. And honestly, that's completely normal. Now, let's talk about introductions. In English-speaking workplaces, first introductions usually follow a pattern. Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome to the team. How are you settling in? Simple, friendly, direct. But for language learners, these moments create pressure. You want to respond perfectly. You want to sound natural. You want to make a good impression. So what happens? Sometimes you overthink it. Sometimes you say less than you wanted. Sometimes you smile and nod more than you speak. Here's something important. Native speakers use phrases like, "Nice to meet you," "Thanks for having me," "I'm excited to be here," "I appreciate the warm welcome." These aren't complex. They're not advanced vocabulary, but they're authentic. They're what people actually say. And honestly, mastering these simple phrases matters more than knowing complicated words you'll rarely use. Now imagine meeting your new manager. They explain your responsibilities, the schedule, the team structure. You're listening carefully, very carefully, maybe too carefully, because you're not just trying to understand the information, you're also translating, processing, and remembering, all simultaneously. And honestly, this mental effort is exhausting. It's why many people feel tired after their first day, even if they didn't do much physical work. Now, here's a mistake many language learners make. They're afraid to ask someone to repeat themselves. They worry it makes them look incompetent. They worry it reveals their English isn't perfect. So instead, they pretend to understand. They nod, they smile, and then later they're confused. But here's the truth. Asking for clarification is professional. Native speakers do it constantly. Could you repeat that, please? Just to make sure I understand correctly. So what you're saying is, these phrases don't make you sound weak. They make you sound engaged. Now, let's talk about names, because this is one of the biggest challenges. You meet Maria, then John, then Priya, then Michael, then Lee, then Karen. 6 names in 5 minutes. Each person shares a little information about themselves. And honestly, trying to remember everything feels impossible. Here's a professional secret. Successful people often repeat names immediately. Nice to meet you, Maria. This simple repetition helps memory. It also sounds polite and attentive. Here's another powerful English lesson. Listen to how native speakers actually talk at work. They use contractions. We're going to, not we are going to. They use casual phrases. Let me know if you need anything. Not, please inform me if you require assistance. Understanding the difference between textbook English and workplace English is crucial. And honestly, you learn this by listening, not by studying. Now, imagine your first coffee break. Someone invites you to join them. This is a moment of opportunity, but it's also a moment of pressure. What do you talk about? How do you keep the conversation going? What if you don't understand a cultural reference? What if they speak too quickly? And honestly, these concerns are valid. But here's something encouraging. Most coworkers understand that small talk takes practice. They remember being new. They remember feeling uncertain. Now here's something fascinating. Small talk in English follows predictable patterns. The weather, the weekend, hobbies, food. These topics are safe, easy, and universal. You don't need perfect English to participate. You need basic phrases and genuine interest. How was your weekend? The weather's been nice lately. Have you worked here long? Simple questions, genuine curiosity. That's the foundation of workplace relationships. Before we move forward, I want you to remember something important. Your first hours at work are not about proving you speak perfect English. They're about showing you're professional, friendly, and willing to learn. And honestly, those qualities matter far more than perfect grammar. By afternoon, something interesting happens. The workplace starts feeling slightly less foreign. You recognize faces. You understand the basic routine. You've survived the hardest part. And honestly, this is when real learning begins. Not just learning about the job, learning about communication, confidence, and yourself. Now, let's talk about mistakes, because almost certainly you made one today. Maybe you used the wrong word. Maybe you didn't understand a question. Maybe you pronounced something incorrectly. And honestly, here's what happened next. Probably nothing. Most people didn't notice, or if they noticed, they didn't care. Because in real communication, perfection isn't the goal. Understanding is the goal. Here's something powerful that language learners discover on their first day. English isn't about knowing every word. It's about communicating effectively with the words you do know. Imagine someone with a huge vocabulary who never speaks. Then imagine someone with simpler English who communicates clearly, asks questions, and connects with people. Which person succeeds at work? Usually the second one. Now here's a lesson nobody teaches in English class. Listening is more important than speaking. On your first day, the people who adapt fastest are often the people who observe most carefully. They listen to how people phrase requests. They notice what topics people discuss. They pay attention to workplace culture. And honestly, this observation is advanced language learning. You're studying English in its natural environment. Now, let's talk about confidence. Because many learners believe confidence comes before action. They think, when my English is better, then I'll speak more. But honestly, it works the opposite way. Confidence comes from action. You speak, you survive, you improve, you try again. Little by little, conversation by conversation, mistake by mistake, confidence builds. Here's something fascinating. By the end of your first day, you've probably learned more practical English than a week of textbook study could teach. You've learned how people actually greet each other, how they actually give instructions, how they actually make small talk. This is real English, living English. And honestly, this is exactly how you become fluent. Now, imagine going home after your first day. You're exhausted, your mind is full. But something else is happening too. You're replaying conversations. You're thinking of better things you could have said. You're noticing phrases people used. And honestly, this reflection is part of the learning process. Your brain is organizing information, finding patterns, building connections. Now, here's perhaps the most important lesson of all. Language learning and career growth follow the same path. Nobody starts confident. Nobody begins knowing everything. Everyone feels uncertain at first. But the people who succeed, they're not the ones who never feel nervous. They're the ones who move forward anyway. Before we finish, I want you to understand something powerful. Today, you didn't just learn about a first day at work. You experienced real English, the kind native speakers actually use, the phrases that matter, the patterns that repeat, the communication that builds careers. And honestly, this is how language learning should always feel. Connected to real life, connected to real emotions, connected to real experiences. Your first day at work teaches you something that every successful English learner eventually discovers. You don't need perfect English. You need practical English. You need confident English. You need English that helps you connect, communicate, and grow. And that kind of English, you're building it right now. Every video you watch, every lesson you complete, every word you practice, little by little, day by day, conversation by conversation. So if you're nervous about using English at work, remember this. Every fluent speaker was once a beginner. Every confident professional once felt uncertain. Every successful person once walked through a door feeling exactly how you feel right now. The difference isn't talent. The difference is persistence. The difference is showing up, trying again, and trusting the process. Thank you so much for learning with me today. And remember, your English journey is just like your career journey. It starts with uncertainty, it grows through practice, and it succeeds through consistency. Keep going. You're doing better than you think.